skip the meeting, legally, it takes 4 conditions. 3 make the amendment. The 4th is the duty that follows it, and it's the one district's drop. So which 4? And 1 federal requirement doesn't switch off just because the meeting did. File that away. It's the difference between a legal shortcut and a due process complaint with your name in it.
This is Erica, and the clause teams read straight past is the first one. The route only opens after the annual IEP team meeting for that school year. Before it, no shortcut. The team convenes.
Hey, I'm Kai, and the number a teacher actually cares about here is 0. 0 calendars to line up. 0 sub-coverage to beg.
Says the man whose stated position is that meetings about meetings should be illegal. Here's the ruling, and it cuts against the convenience read. The parent of a child with a disability and the public agency may agree not to convene. Both parties. Not the school on its own.
Erica, that's the same move we walked through last time on the 3-year reevaluation. Parent and district agreeing that a step doesn't have to happen. Same shape, different paragraph.
So a parent can just say no?
A parent can just say no, and they don't owe anyone a reason. The word is agree, not persuade, so if the family wants the team in a room, the team goes in a
Except that is not how districts behave. They send it and assume.
room. Which is why I'd never send one of these out as a done deal, you ask? You wait for the yes.
Run your finger down the actual page because everybody quotes this rule and almost nobody reads it. Title 34, Part 300, Section 324, Paragraph a, 4.
The Department of Education prints that paragraph under one word, agreement. Little I reads, the parent of a child with a disability and the public agency may agree not to convene an IEP team meeting for the purposes of making those changes, and instead may develop a written document to amend or modify the child's current IEP. One sentence. That's the whole authority.
Amend it, don't redraft it. Paragraph 6 says exactly that in plain words.
So think about what that actually looks like in a building. An empty conference room, a table of chairs nobody had to fill, and a child's program that legally changed anyway while the room stayed
Hold on. Nobody in that empty room knows the program changed.
empty. Kai, park that because it's condition 4 and it has teeth.
One line almost nobody quotes. Upon request, a parent must be provided with a revised copy of the IEP with the amendments incorporated. So if the family never asks, nobody ever.
That is not the worst of it. The substitute teaches from whatever version is in the binder.
Mails it, so ask in writing every time and date the request.
Wait, bound that for me because I think I just heard 2 different rights. Upon request governs the clean reissued copy with the amendments folded in. The 300.322, paragraph F, separately says the agency must give the parent a copy of the IEP at no cost, and that one has no request attached to it.
K, you've had one queued since the top, and it's the question that decides whether any of this is safe. Ask it.
Reluctantly, because I already know the answer costs me a habit. If we skip the meeting, do we still owe the parent prior written notice?
Hold it right there because the answer is condition-shaped, 4 of them. And wait until you hear which one districts drop because the notice Kai just named isn't even one of the 4. One thing before the next part and then we move right on. If any of this is clicking, tap that like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for the next one. It takes a second, it costs nothing, and it helps more than you would think. Before we rolled, Professor Okafor sent me paragraph 4 with 3 words circled in it. And no, Kai, the notice does not go away. Professor Okafor, those 3 words.
Not to convene. Now read the subject of that verb. It isn't the district, it's the parent of a child with a disability and the public agency, joined by the word and, 2 parties, 1 verb. Read it with 1 and you get this rule wrong.
Districts say it a different way. We're doing the meeting by phone. Same team, same conversation, nobody drives in.
2 ways to answer that, and the first repairs the question. A phone meeting is still a meeting. That's a different section, 328, alternative means of meeting participation. Under 324, no meeting happens at all. One rule is how you attend. The other is whether you convene.
So if the speech therapist calls and we agree to move a block of minutes off Tuesday and forget the phone, start at the paperwork. Is there a written document or only a call?
A phone call is a conversation. The regulation asks for a written document to amend or modify the child's current IEP. If the only record is that call, there is no amendment. There's a memory.
So somebody writes it down. Today, not Friday.
Okay, so hang on, let me count these out loud because I want you counting with me at home. Condition 1, the annual IEP team meeting for that school year already happens. Condition 2, the parent and the agency both agree not to convene.
Condition 3. A written document amends the current IEP. You change the page you already have. You don't rebuild the program from scratch.
Condition 4, and it's the one district's drop. The public agency must ensure that the child's IEP team is informed of those changes. Informed, not filed. A signed page sitting in a cabinet has informed nobody.
4. Miss one of the first 3 and you didn't amend anything. Miss the 4th and you broke a duty the paragraph puts on the agency.
And I won't pretend I can recite what each state stacks on top because several add steps. We'll pin the federal page in the pinned comment. The floor is those 4.
Think of it like an airport security line. The full meeting is the whole checkpoint. Shoes off, laptop out, everybody in line.
And 328?
Pre-check. You still go through. You just keep your shoes on.
Try a second one, closer to home. A lease amendment. Both signatures or the old lease stands.
What's the same in both? Nobody changes the terms alone.
Okay, but the airport never writes my family a letter about waving me through. That's where it breaks, Kai. The school owes a written notice to somebody who was never in the line.
Fair agreement replaces the meeting. It doesn't replace the notice.
Careful here, because this is the part I taped to a wall. 503 says written notice must be given to the parents a reasonable time before the public agency proposes to initiate or change the provision of FAPE to the child. Changing minutes, changing a goal, dropping a service, that is the provision of FAPE. I mean, it is whenever the change moves what the child actually receives. Nothing in 324 switches that off.
Yeah, sit with that one.
This next part is the one people rewind. Take it slow.
The notice has content requirements of its own. It must describe the action proposed, explain why, and describe other options the IEP team considered and the reasons those were rejected. That last one is why a 2-line amendment still takes real time to paper honestly.
Count it out. 2 conditions land before the page exists. One is the page, one happens after. Most teams stop at 3.
You know what this reminds me of? Most years, I swear the tomatoes ripen before September, and then it's October, and I'm holding a fistful of green ones.
October tomatoes. That's a whole personality.
Same clock though. The annual meeting is your growing season. Nothing amends before it.
You keep saying informed. What does informed actually mean in one sentence?
It means the people who carry out the IEP know what changed before they're expected to carry it out. Watch what informed actually looks like. One facilitator, one printed page carried to every table.
Before. You just put the whole weight of the rule on that one word.
I did. A teacher who learns on Thursday that a service changed on Monday has already delivered the wrong program all week. Ensure is an active verb.
You know the pattern I keep circling back to on this one?
The paper one. Go.
Take a composite case. Call him Dev, a 4th grader whose reading minutes get trimmed by agreement in the spring. Parent agreed. Written amendment, signed, dated, in the file. 3 of the 4 conditions, clean. Nobody told the reading interventionist, and she kept delivering the old schedule for weeks.
And the one condition they dropped is the only one that touches Dev's actual day.
Does the regulation say how fast?
Honestly, I'd have to check whether anything puts a number on that.
Cynthia, you've been on the receiving end of these. I've only read the rule. What does informed look like on a Tuesday?
One clean step, a dated email to every person who delivers a minute of the IEP with the changed line pasted in the body. And if you keep one thing from today, keep this. The email is your evidence, not the signature.
Your clock question, Kai. Nothing sets a clock on telling the team. 503 sets one on the parent's notice. a reasonable time before the change. That's the deadline you're actually under.
Fine, I hate it. 4 conditions plus a notice is more paper than a short meeting. It's correct, and I still hate it.
The honest cost is the room, Kai. 324 little a 3 says the regular education teacher must, to the extent appropriate, participate in developing the IEP. A signature page never asks her anything.
So sort your changes: a date, a title, a corrected minute count, amend it, a behavior plan, a placement, a service somebody would argue about, convene. 328 lets you do it by phone.
So the test is basically, is this change controversial?
Not controversial, consequential. Plenty of uncontroversial changes are enormous. A minute count is uncontroversial right up until those are the minutes holding the child up.
Consequential, not controversial. I'm stealing that. And that is the line I would write inside the front cover of every IEP binder in the building because it decides which changes get a page and which changes get a room. Professor Okafor, thank you. You moved this whole conversation off the signature and onto the notice, which is not where any of us started.
Seconded. I walked in wanting a shortcut, and I'm walking out with a checklist.
Then one caution on the way out. The amendment that drew no objection is often the one that never reached the people downstream. Audit who you informed, not just who you asked.
If this just saved you a meeting you didn't need or stopped one you did, hit like and subscribe. And send it to the person on your team who signs the amendments, because condition 4 is the one they are most likely to be dropping. Would you take the written amendment every time, or is losing the room too high a price? That's the paragraph. Carry one thing out with you. Agreement replaces the meeting, never the notice, not when the change moves what the child receives. Use it carefully, tell the team the same day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for spending this one with us.